Hi everyone, I'm Ted.Thomas and I'm looking forward to meeting you. This is going to be a short video and I'm going to teach you how to make money with safe, secure government certificates. But before we get into that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my experience. Now, my first career was as an airline pilot. Now, when I finished that career, I realized there was a lot of money to be made in the business of investing in tax-defaulted property at government auctions. So today I make my home here in Florida, on a little island. It's on the Atlantic side. It's the home of the Space Center. It's called Merritt Island. And you can see the Space Center is where they launched the man to the moon and, of course, the space shuttle, which you'll get a quick look at right now. Okay, so I've been doing this for 25 years. I'm a publisher of information. It's primarily about tax lien certificates and tax deeds. So when I'm not in my office, I'm traveling around the world teaching people this because you can do this from outside the United States. The internet created a whole new world. And so I teach this in Sydney, in Singapore, San Francisco, New York, London, Toronto, and Vancouver, Canada. So you're getting the idea that anybody can do this from outside the United States or inside the United States. So I'm going to teach you both ways. But first, today we're going to learn about tax lien certificates. So now this is a government-controlled monopoly, okay? It's been around for 200 years, and so you can't buy them from me. You're going to have to buy them directly from the government. So lesson number one is you're going to invest with the government, and you're going to get a check back from the government. You'll invest with the government, you'll get a check back from the government. Now look at the center of that slide, and as you look at the center of the slide, you can see it says lock-in guaranteed high interest rates. I don't make that guarantee. The local government makes that guarantee. So first we're going to understand what a tax lien certificate is, and then you'll see how the government makes sure that you make money on it, okay? So there's not going to be any stock market risk. The market's up and down. Not going to be any of that. You're going to get a locked-in rate of return. So I want you to put that in your brain so that you know that first of all. All right, so now with all that said, who is this guy, Ted.Thomas? Well, I've been on TV a lot explaining this like I'm explaining it to you now. I've been on CBS and ABC, and I've published in USA Today and Newsweek magazine. So I'm doing this for a number of years, and most people consider me the authority. So what are you going to learn? You're going to learn about the safest and the most lucrative investment that I could ever explain to you, okay? So this is a very safe and secure investment. Now, why can I say it's safe and secure? Because you're going to invest with the government. You're going to get a check back from the government. You can't buy these certificates from me. I'm a teacher, I'm an author, and a publisher. All right, now I say, as you can see here on the slide, I say this investment always goes up. And that's because if you get an 18% return this year, and then you get it again next year, and you get it the year after, you see your investment is going to go up instead of being much like the stock market, which goes up and down. Now, I'm not at all negative on the stock market. Some people make a fortune there, but you really have to pay attention. So if you don't pay attention to your investments, it's not like the good old days. You bought a stock and you just waited 30 years to retirement. No more. Those days are gone. But tax certificates are a predictable, they're a certain and secure investment. Now, let me say that again. Tax certificates are predictable, they're certain, and they're secure. So what is this tax certificate? So let me reach down here on my desk, and I'll show you. A tax certificate is nothing more than a piece of paper that the government issues. So it's just a tax. This is the same size that comes out of your printer. So let's look at that by looking at this slide. All right, so on the left, you can see a property. Now that property, every property in the United States, every property is taxable. So that could be a farm, it could be an office building, or here it could be a house. Now, generally speaking, taxes are 1 or 2%. All right, so that money is owed to the local government. Understand this is a local investment. Owed to the local government. All right, now, the tax is generally 1%. It's owed to the local government. If they don't collect their money, now the government has a problem. And I'll get into that in a second. All right, so the government has a problem. So what they do is you look at the slide now, is you can see the office building there. Well, that's the government office. They sell a tax certificate. They sell this piece of paper. Now, if you look on the bottom of the screen, in black, that's you. You bought the tax certificate. When you bought the certificate, you now have a right in that property. That means that property can't be sold. It can't be mortgaged. It can't be, you can't do anything with that property until the taxes are paid. So this is a secure investment. You can't buy them from me. You got to buy them from the government. All right, so now you understand what a tax certificate is. It's just the local government, as you see there, the local government trying to collect their money. If they can't collect their money, they sell a certificate. Now, anyone can go in and buy one of these certificates, and I'm going to demonstrate in a minute that there's thousands of these certificates available. Anybody can buy one of these certificates. Okay, all right. Why does the government sell a certificate? That's a question people say. Well, the reason the government sells a certificate is this is not an excise tax, it's not an income tax, it's a local tax. And what they do with local tax money is, if you look at that screen real close, you can see that that's how we pay for the police, that's how we pay for the fire department, and you can follow it all the way down. The hospitals, the roads, the libraries, all the things you see listed there are paid by those local taxes, okay? So if the government doesn't collect that, we would have to shut down the schools. If the government doesn't collect, we'd have to shut down the school. So that's why the local governments sell these certificates. So it's important that you understand you're making an investment that benefits everybody. You're not just making an investment in pushing someone out of a home or anything like that. If those people don't pay their tax, guess what? It's going to be a problem for the rest of us because we won't be able to pay the school teachers, and we don't want to have that. Okay, so let's review the slide. It says every property has a tax. It's always payable to the county. And so every property has a tax. You can see that tax is about 1 or 2%. It's owed to the county. If they don't get paid, they issue a tax lien certificate. Now, I'm only going to talk about tax lien certificates today. On my next video, I'll tell you about tax deeds. But we'll get to that in a little bit, and you'll get some nice videos before I finish and show you about that. All right, so this is easy street for the investors. Absolutely easy street, because the tax collector does all the work. All you do is you go to auction, raise your hand, buy the certificate, and you go home, and then you take your certificate, this one you bought, and you put it on your desk, and you just wait for people to pay taxes. Now, if they don't pay their taxes, you're going to love it. If they don't pay their taxes, you'll like it, because that means they're not going to pay you. If they don't pay you, you get the property. It's the law. You get the property. Now, we'll cover more about that in a minute. Okay, so investors like this investment because 97% of the time you'll get all your money that you invested back, plus a high interest rate. Now, the interest rates could be 18, they could be 24, they could be 36. They're very high interest rates, and that's always determined by the state that you buy in. Now, everything I'm going to talk to you about is written right on that screen. You can see it's the law in every state. So what I'm talking about is every state, but they have their own laws. But every state has tax liens and tax deeds. Okay, so I'm talking about government tax lien certificates. On another video, I'll tell you about government tax defaulted property. But let's just learn these certificates first, okay? All right, so what really has taken place here is the local homeowner owes money to the government. You're going to pay the debt, and you get a tax lien certificate. It's about as simple as that, okay? So you could earn, and look at this slide, you can earn 16%, 18%, 24%, all the way up to 36%. So let's look at the slide in depth. That's you on the left. You wrote a check, you can see writing the check, and you give it to the government. The government, in return, is going to give you a certificate, and then they could pay you any one of the rates you see there, 16, 18, 24, just depends upon the state that you bought it in. Just depends upon the state you bought it in, okay? Now, I know it sounds unbelievable. When I first heard it, I thought it was unbelievable too, but I'm here to tell you it's the law in every state and every county. You get paid or you get the property. So what happens is if that homeowner doesn't come in and buy that certificate back from you, give you back all your money plus the high interest rate, you're going to get the property. I didn't make the rules. I'm just bringing you the message. This has been going on for 200 years. 200 years. Think about that.